maybe. We here.
Oh, this is a damning stat for poor Bryce Young. Bo Nix, Jade Daniels, and Caleb Williams have all won their 4th career starts before Bryce Young, drafted a full year earlier than those guys. Sorry, Panthers fans. Didn't want you to catch a stray, but you just did. What? Oh, we steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is GPS.
Tired.
Literally out of nowhere. So here's a stat where Bryce Young sucks. Just out of nowhere. Just completely and totally. That's it. That's the Denver Broncos all of a sudden have a run game, which came out of nowhere, or just, the Saints are literally beat to absolute hell. Yeah, they are just so injured. I picked the Saints. I have never looked more foolish after a pick. I was like, you know what, maybe. Sitting there last night was painful.
That was a silly pick. I should have advised you.
Yeah.
I picked the Broncos, but
it's not it.
I said something in the post-game recap that was so silly. I was like, the Saints, their run defense isn't that bad, right? And Will was instantly like, they just gave up 277 to the Bucs. I was like, oh, yeah, that was 4 days ago, and I already forgot everything that happened last week.
Because I was like, you know what? Maybe we get that second quarter magic where they scored like 27 points.
Exactly.
Like maybe the Broncos offense really hasn't been impressive, so maybe they're able to pull one off at home. I was wrong. They're playing guys. What was it? Bub Means was Bub Means out there catching passes. So they're down bad. They're so injured. It's just not even like, I feel good about the win. Don't get me wrong. Sure.
I know what the win is within the context of what that game was. I would like to build off of that performance for the Broncos run game. Okay.
You can't, but okay.
Did you say you can't?
Yeah, I mean, when they're showing Javonte Williams is his first career game with 2 touchdowns, and you're like, oh, the Saints are bad. Okay, all right, yeah. Because the Packers are used to that. We're like in previous years of like, oh, Baker Mayfield, perfect passer rating. It's, Bryce Young having a career game against Joe Barry. It's like, oh, that's his first touchdown of the season. So I get it. I totally get it. Sorry,
Panthers fans, it's time to put the big kitty down. Time to put the big kitty down.
Inject, rough night for the Saints. That was an ass whooping of Evan Ford. And Bo Nix really wasn't that great either. The run game was phenomenal. Your defense was amazing. That play that got called back for that defensive offsides, where it was just a litany of comedic errors and ended in a scoop and score that wound up not counting. Like the Broncos defense should have had 2. You have Honey Badger dropping a interception that hits him in the chest, and he's just like, all right. So it's
the game should have been even worse for the Saints. Bo had he had 2 bad throws. He had a Bover throw to start the game, and then he had that ball that should have been picked by Tyrann Mathieu. But other than that, he didn't have to do a lot. He had 75 rushing yards. 2 of those were read option designed runs, which is nice. We're like, let's just look. We see the athleticism. He can make plays with his legs. Let's actually just lean into that a little bit to keep the defenses a little more honest.
Yeah, he could run,
and I think it did help. The rest of the run game a little bit. Again, I'm not gonna look too much into the run game, but I think it's just that's the formula. Ask Bo to do less. Because as he's been developing through the first part of this season, he's been throwing the football a lot, probably too much for a rookie. And part of that, Sean Payton, I think the way he wants to run the offense, part of that's because the run game has just not been good. Mm-hmm. So I think if he has that, I don't want to even call it a security blanket, but if we can just pick up a couple first downs every drive with our run, I don't even care if we're settling for field goals because I trust our defense. It's so good. The defense is so good. The Saints could have had their starters out there last night, and our defense still would have smothered them. But
I'm a wild card yet. It's a little early. But if they can actually commit to the run game, then maybe.
Well, we got the Broncos get the Panthers next week.
Yes,
so I think that's a win. Then we get tested. We've got the Ravens and the Chiefs back-to-back weeks. we split that series, then I 100% going to believe this is a wild card type team. We lose both of those games, and I'll be like, okay, we're better than the bad teams.
Yeah.
We can hang with the middle teams, but we still can't beat the good teams yet. And if we sneak into the playoffs, we'll be lucky. But it's when you have a great defense, anything is possible.
Makes things a lot easier.
It does. It makes you able to survive the growing pains of a young quarterback. What I don't know is, I don't know who Bo Nix is going to be. I don't know how good he can be. I know he won't be terrible. He's a weird quarterback. He can be putting up garbage stats, but still doing a good enough job. You know what I mean? He had 100 passing yards through the end of the first quarter.
Well, I feel like
buck.
The problem is, Sutton, nothing last night. Not great. But I think there's a couple things. That offense, it does need to be rebuilt a bit. There needs to be more weapons.
That's all we need.
There's a few things that they need. And then you could kind of really evaluate with Bo Nix, I feel like, because right now he looks like a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? He's making plays with his feet. He was able to scramble, pick up some yards, and that was what was kind of screwing the Saints early. And he definitely settled down in that game because, he had, like you said, the overthrow in the beginning. He missed 2 guys. But I think overall, the offense could be something. It seems like they could be a run team. Of course, this is against a very bad Saints defense right now as they're banged up to hell. But you said, the formula's there. It's just a matter of, can they actually replicate that and be consistent week to week? It would help the Falcons.
Sean Payton does not want to be a run-first team.
No.
It's not the offense he likes. He likes short passing plays that function as a run. He likes that West Coast, whatever offense hybrid shit they run now. So we'll see. Bo just needs I think that first Bover throw.
Yeah.
It's a weird play because there's 2 guys open. And we talked about it last night. I think he literally saw the first guy and he's going to throw it. And as he's throwing, he sees the other guy wide open and kind of does one of those things where he just thinks he might be able to
split the distance.
He just fucks up his throw instead of taking the guy he was trying to get.
Yeah, there's literally, because there was 2 guys open on that play. He literally's like, I'm going to throw in the middle of both of you so neither of you could get to it.
I think you're like, oh, God, there he is. Oh, no, another guy. Oh, God, I messed it up.
Yep.
I messed it up.
I don't think so because Cam Jordan's 35. I don't know if the Lions want him. Yeah, again, we have to see what they look like.
Well, for if it's a one-season type thing, sure.
Yeah, but then why are you getting him for one season if you think you win the Super Bowl right now? Then that's a different story.